God, overthinking is brutal. It's 3 a.m., you're lying in bed, eyes closed, but your brain refuses to shut down. Tomorrow's meeting, last week's fight, next month's rent. The exact same thoughts looping like a glitching track. The harder you try to stop, the faster it spins. Finally, you pass out from exhaustion, barely fall asleep, hear the birds and have to get up again. You're not thinking, you're overheating. But the fever isn't in your body, it's in your brain, and this fever has never, ever broken. In 2001, neuroscientists at Washington University found something out. Inside your brain, there's this thing called the default mode network. When you're doing absolutely nothing, this network doesn't power down. Its power consumption actually spikes. It only does three things: replays the past, panics about the future, and endlessly verifies, who am I? Your brain is only 2% of your body weight, but this background process eats 20% of your total energy. Think about your phone. You know those apps you never even opened? But they constantly run in the background, eating your data, draining your battery. You have one of those in your brain. You never manually launched it, but it hasn't closed since the day you were born. What happens if you never force quit it? Think back to when you were overthinking the hardest. You played the same scenario on loop hundreds of times. You told yourself, drop it, stop thinking about it. But 3 seconds later, it's back. You can't figure it out, but you can't stop. This is phase 1, the infinite loop. Then, before the old emotions are even processed, new anxiety hits. Monday's meeting is still buffering, while Friday's deadline is ticking down. You're carrying more and more data, but your system is crawling. This is phase 2, memory leak. Next, you want to do everything, but you can't do anything. You open a doc, stare at the screen, switch to your phone, scroll TikTok for half an hour, put it down and feel worse. You look busy, but the progress bar is stuck at 0. This is phase 3, system thrashing. Finally, you don't want to do anything, you can't feel anything. It's not because you're weak. Your brain detected a critical temperature spike. It forced a CPU throttle to protect the motherboard. A lot of highly sensitive, overthinking people end up exactly here. Depression isn't just a mental issue. It's a hardware protection protocol at the physical level. Let me break it down. Imagine your laptop has 200 tabs open and the fans are screaming. You don't close a single tab. Instead, you insult yourself for being useless. Eventually, the screen just goes black. It's not broken, it's protecting itself from melting down. You don't need a new laptop. You need to find the program maxing out your CPU, the one trapping you in an infinite loop, the one blocking you from killing your anxiety, the one crashing your brain, the virus program making existence feel like a pure drain of battery. Before I give you its name, think about this. Your eyes can see the whole world, but they can never see themselves, not without a mirror. But is that reflection actually you? It's inverted, delayed, and 2D. You can never directly observe the eye itself, just like you can never directly observe the virus because the virus is you. This isn't a metaphor, it's math. In 1931, Gödel proved a theorem. Any sufficiently complex system cannot fully prove itself using its own rules. Let's go back to the virus. Your brain is a closed system. It's trying to use its own processing power to scan its entire state. Logically, this command can never finish executing. It's guaranteed to hit infinite recursion. Imagine an eyeball spinning wildly, trying to look directly at itself. It spins faster and faster until it's exhausted, but it will never see it. This is the true name of the program. It's not called anxiety or overthinking or a character flaw. It's the ego Trojan, a program trying to use itself to observe itself, forever stuck on the loading screen. And the battery drained by that loading screen is 100% of the pain you feel at 3 a.m. Back to 3 a.m., lying in bed. You thought it was the rent keeping you awake, and it wasn't. It was the infinite loop idling in your brain. Even if you won the lottery tomorrow, it would just find a new data set to chew on. Because its job isn't to solve bugs. Its job is just to spin. Now let's see how it hacks you. Let's see how you manage to trap yourself in this dead end. Number 1, you aren't the one making decisions. Have you ever done something super impulsive and then made up a totally logical reason for it afterward? Your brain does this every single second. To prove this, let's look at the first experiment. In the 1960s, Gazzaniga at Caltech severed the connection between the left and right brains of epilepsy patients. Then he showed a snow scene to the right brain and a chicken claw to the left. The left hand, controlled by the right brain, pointed to a shovel. The right hand, controlled by the left brain, pointed to a chicken. Then came the critical moment. The researchers asked, why did you pick the shovel? The left brain had 0 data on the snow scene, but it instantly generated a flawless script. It said, oh, the chicken claw, you need a shovel to clean the chicken coop. Sperry won the 1981 Nobel Prize for this discovery. Pay attention. That voice in your head judging right and wrong every day. That voice you think is making choices. That's just the PR manager. It has no admin access, but it claims credit for everything. Think about the last time you had a fight. Afterward, you kept getting madder, screaming at them 100 times in your head. You drafted the perfect script of what you should have said. That wasn't you thinking, that was the PR manager pulling overtime to write a press release. And the crazy part, it's the absolute last one to get the ping. Number 2, your decisions lag behind you by half a second. In 1983, Liebert's experiments proved this. 550 milliseconds before you consciously think to move, your brain has already launched the executable. You think you're making a choice, but your hand is moving before the thought even loads. This means the thousands of decisions you make daily. What to eat, what to scroll, what to text back. You probably didn't actually decide a single one of them. The brain executed the command first, and your consciousness got the push notification later. You think you're the CEO signing the paperwork. But the security footage shows 0.35 seconds before you made the decision, your fingers were already reaching for the pen. Did you really decide to sign that? You're not the CEO, you're not the intel agent. The you living in this world is just a pop-up window running on a 350 millisecond lag. All your choices were locked in before you even chose them. But Libet said something crucial. Your only real freedom isn't making the choice. It's hitting the cancel button. He called it free won't, not free will. And the one hitting that cancel button isn't the PR manager spinning fake stories. It's a much quieter protocol deep inside your hardware. It doesn't speak, but it has root access to mute the PR manager anytime. It gets worse, there's an even crazier experiment. Number 3, your physical borders can be overwritten in 60 seconds. Scientists hit a subject's real hand. They put a rubber fake hand on the desk. Then they stroked both the real hand and the rubber hand with a brush at the exact same time. 60 seconds. That's all it took. You start believing the rubber hand is yours. When the researcher smashes the plastic hand with a hammer, you physically flinch, you actually pull back. Your hardware generates pure, real terror over a piece of plastic. Actually, we are never defined by our physical bodies. The concept of who am I is just a cognitive construct built by the brain's sensors. The body we cling to, the external things we obsess over, may not be the real you. If the physical borders of you can be rewritten by a 60-second data stream, how real is this thing you call you? Now that we've covered these 3 experiments, let's summarize. These 3 experiments prove the exact same thing. You aren't the one making decisions, and the self you feel isn't the real you. The ego you know is just a virus constantly auditing yourself, causing you endless internal friction and pain. But why does this ego generate so much of this agonizing internal friction? All right, we've seen modern science, let's look at the ancients. You thought the enlightened masters were philosophers. They weren't, they were humanity's first system hackers. They didn't have fMRI machines. But by running internal diagnostics, they caught the exact same ego Trojan. 2,500 years ago, the Buddha dropped a core truth, anatta. It means there is absolutely no fixed, unchanging self. When he talked about suffering, he wasn't being depressing. His definition of suffering is a precise physical metric, because the entire universe's system refreshes and flows every millisecond. But the ego program is hard-coded to death-grip the past. When you try to hold a static file in a fluid universe, it's like pulling the handbrake while slamming the gas on the highway. The forced friction between those 2 vectors, the heat of those burning brake pads, that is what you experience as pain. The Heart Sutra says, form is emptiness, emptiness is form, translated into modern dev logic. There is no independent little admin sitting in your head piloting you. The you that you believe in is just a temporary render compiled from raw data streams. In Matthew, Jesus said, whoever wants to save their life will lose it. Why does protecting yourself cause a fatal crash? Think about the last time someone criticized you. Did your brain instantly spin up excuses to fight back? That was the ego Trojan running its firewall. The more processing power you allocate to defend this fake identity, the higher your CPU usage spikes, until your entire system eventually crashes. Laozi said, attain the ultimate emptiness, hold fast to the truest stillness. He meant purge the RAM until it's absolutely silent, because the ego Trojan is eating memory even when you're AFK. Laozi's fix was hardcore. Force terminate the background self-scanning loop. Read nothing, write nothing. 3 different civilizations, eras, and languages all pointed to the exact same conclusion. That isn't a coincidence. These were 3 elite devs in different time zones, pulling the exact same error log from the human operating system. They used different syntax to tell you one thing. The noisy ego in your head will melt your motherboard. But this triggers 2 critical errors. Number 1, If the thing talking, deciding, and panicking in your head isn't you, then where is the real you? Number two, since this ego is just a fake background process, why does it generate such visceral, agonizing pain? Anxiety isn't an emotion, depression isn't a personality trait. Every single ounce of pain you feel has a precise physical source code. Next episode, we'll decompile the hardware-level truth of suffering and show you why this universe itself is just one massive friction heat recycling plant.